Today I decided to move a bit further away from the center again, like I did the review of VEF quarter, and just I wanted to look around to the quarter next to VEF and see what's there. So I was moving in the way of Jaunā Teika district, which is located there. In front we see the VEF Culture Palace from the Soviet times, I think from late 50s. It was restored recently. It looks really nice. And this is the Jaunā Teika district, which was started to build 15 years ago or something like that, and completed just 2 years ago, approximately. And there are 4 office buildings and several commie blocks, like regular buildings for people to live in, and a multi-story car park and all such things. And there are a lot of IT workers. I think there's Accenture Latvian office with several thousand people working there, and some startups like Nordigen, which is financial startup, Latvian financial startup, and some other companies. So there are a lot of IT people working there, several thousand, or maybe even like 4 or 5,000 people in the area. Maybe not just in these buildings, because right next we have the LMT, which is Latvia's biggest mobile operator office too. So there are also a lot of people in tech who are working there. So this is kind of new tech area in the city. And there on the right there's an event space called Fantadroms. I believe they organize all kinds of events there, and there's space for some conferences or some events, and it's called like that because of Latvian kids sci-fi TV show called Fantadroms about the cat who's like flying in space, and it's kind of cult thing in Latvia. And that's great. It's like some local touch to all of that. And there is a bit of a space age vibe like here, not just in this Fantadrom's name, but there's also one thing that I will also show later on. But actually, no, you can actually see it already, this monkey statue there located right next to the area. But actually, as you can see, it's, even though it's recent, this building in front, this housing block, it looks like something from 70s with all this base in front of us. It was called Ausma. I think it's like the offices at the lower part in this base, and higher up there's housing. And if you look around, there's just all these commie block buildings from, it's just, they are just several years old, but they don't look really that nice. Although, otherwise it's a good area, free of cars, like mostly. Although there's some parking, maybe for guests, on the other side of the development, on the parallel street. But inside, there's some place for kids and some greenery, some basketball court. But actually, these all houses. They are like 10 stories and higher, and bigger office buildings, higher rises, so it maybe doesn't look that great, and the architecture is especially terrible for that 70s looking building in front, because others are just plain white and nothing much to see. But I wonder why they built this one like it looks like it belongs into 70s or something like that. So there's a lot of people already living there. It was completed like 2 years ago maybe. These buildings in the background, they're actually a bit older. Not the 70s looking building, but those others there, because they were built before the 2008 this financial crisis, and these ones are more newer ones. Or they look worse than the old ones, because I'm not sure, but property prices also went down in Latvia. It was really a bubble before the financial crisis, so probably they could afford a bit better architecture at that time than they could when after the crisis they continued with the development. And here in front we have this monkey statue that was put in one of the Riga's parks a few years ago as a gift to the city by some artist, but they didn't want it because they said it has no artistic value, so it changed hands for some time, and then it ended up here at the Jaunā Teika area. And I don't know how long it will stay there, but for me it looks okay. At least it's some kind of another thing that you can associate this new district with, because it's really new and interesting. But yeah, some people hate it because they don't see it as something architecturally valuable, and they think it's just trash. But yeah, here it is in all its glory, in all its plasticky, like, because it's plastic, I think it's some kind of, it's not stone or anything like that. But yeah, here is this statue, and right next to the area is the new Latvia's State Security Office building site, which is also controversial, but that's a bit a different story. Yeah, and here in the right next to it is the LMT building.